Today we're revealing one of my favorite new Elestrals and a strategy that I have been known to love and many others hate. It's time to talk about Mill in Daybreak. We got much more than Mill today as we count down every single day until July 12th when pre-orders open for Daybreak, so get it on your calendar. It's about to be hype. The first card we're revealing today is Lumaroo, a beautiful new Solar Elestral with 5 attack and 2 defense that has a super cool effect. When this Lumaroo destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, that opponent must send the top 3 cards from their deck to the underworld. This is the first card that we see that provides deck destruction or mill effects towards your opponent. That is a more offensive card. So Lumaroo provides this support in terms of being able to be an offensive threat for mill. It also helps stop against Fortel and other solar decks, and it's just a 5 attacker in solar. So I really think Lumaroo is going to see some really unique play. This is also an Elestral that really benefits from misenchanting. So you might see this enchanted with a water spirit at times, or maybe even a fire spirit as we break down the rest of the Daybreak metagame. But Lumaroo is one that you do not want to miss. Lumaroo does indeed ascend into the powerful Ruminis. Ruminis is a 7 attacker with 4 defense, 2 solar, and it's got a super unique effect as well that when this Ruminis deals damage to an opponent, so they're forced to expend spirits, that opponent must send the top 3 cards from their deck to the underworld for each spirit they expended, which means that if Ruminis can get buffed up through Nexus or acquiring a bunch of spirits and attack directly, you can legitimately mill like dozens of cards in a single attack. This card is going to be really interesting to watch. I'm curious to see what kind of cool decks, rogue decks that people can cook up with Lumaroo and Ruminis and other mill strategies. I think this is the perfect balance of having an epic Elestral that can do some really cool stuff with milling your opponent without it being like annoying or oppressive. I really am excited about Ruminis. Now, when we talk about mill in Elestrals, you can't have that conversation without the beautiful little Hummburst. And Hummburst is back in Daybreak. We've got a brand new art of 2 cute Hummbursts just flying around each other. For those who don't know, this is an Elestral from the Fire Starter decks of base set, getting a reprint here that when you cast a rune, an opponent must send 2 cards from the top of their deck to their underworld, and you can do this up to 4 times in a turn. This is really the primary way to run a defensive mill deck in Elestrals as an alternative win cons, where your opponent decks out before they even, have a chance to use all their spirits. But the real thing about this Hummburst is that it has a new ascension, and that ascension is Hummburst. And I'm not kidding when I say I believe that Hummburst is like S+ tier Elestral and creature design in general. Moms actually knocked this one out of the park. I love me some Hummburst. It is a 4 attacker with 3 defense and fire and solar, so blending those elements together, you can disenchant a fire and a solar spirit from this Hummburst to force an opponent to send the top 6 cards from their deck to the underworld. That's right, they're forced to mill 6 from this thing blowing itself up basically, or if you can enchant more spirits to it, you can have it basically use that blow up effect to force them to mill. And I think that there's a few key cards to highlight with this. This is searchable with First Light, and it can work really, really well as a late game finisher after you utilize your Hummburst effect. So I can't wait to see what people cook up with Hummburst. This is a card that, like I said, I really love it. I think its design is S tier, and I really think it's a fun effect as like a 1 of or maybe a 2 of in some more explosive mill decks. And last but certainly not least, you might be surprised to see this card added into this reveal, but it is a new artifact rune, Bow of Apollo. Bow of Apollo is Apollo's signature artifact indeed, and it is a 1-cost solar artifact that says the empowered Elestral can attack opponent's spirit decks directly. When Apollo is enchanted and you deal damage to your opponent, you can return a solar spirit from your underworld to your spirit deck. So you get a little regeneration there when paired with Apollo. But the applications for Bow of Apollo are enormous. I mentioned this in the same context as Ruminis, an Elestral that really relies on dealing damage directly, and as more of those are introduced into Elestrals, Bow of Apollo and its validity will increase. This is also a 1-cost artifact, so we'll see if that makes any difference there for all my artifact enjoyers. But Bow of Apollo is going to have some really cool use cases in Daybreak and beyond as a unique artifact allowing you to attack directly. I told y'all today's reveal was hype, and as a casual mill enjoyer myself, I just love me some Hummburst. Let me know what you guys think about Lumaroo, Roominous, Hummburst, and of course, Bow of Apollo. And we'll be back for another reveal tomorrow as we count down until Daybreak pre-orders open on July 12th. Oh, and this is one last reminder to Shattered Stars members, you only have a few days left to use the free shipping code. So check it out right here on screen if you're a Shattered Stars subscriber. I'll see you tomorrow.